at the end of the day, I'm trying to remind myself that it's just a chicken gate. Okay, I'm back to the chicken gate project today. I got the soil a little bit, slightly more flattened out. And now it's time to choose the timber for the frame. I've measured up the space and I've sort of been figuring out exactly how to hang the gate and which side, because it's a little bit awkward. So the most obvious thing to do would be to attach the gate with the hinges on this side and latch on this side. But that would mean that it would be opening out here across the garage door, which is not going to be good. That's just not practical. The other option is having the hinges on this post and the latch over here, in which case it would be opening into this pen and I guess blocking off this part a little bit and still being a little bit awkward in the doorway. What I would rather do, although it won't look as good from this side, is attach the hinges onto the back of this post and then have the latch on this side, but the gate would be at the back of these posts. So the latch would have to be on the back of the post. Access isn't that much of a deal, but it's just it won't look as nice. But I think that's the best option because that means it'll open out flat against the garage. Alright, I'm using the timber we've got for the gate frame. I've got a couple of options because, the posts aren't super secure. Because the posts aren't super secure, lighter is better and it's easier for everyone to open anyway. So the main two options I've got are, we've got fence palings which are 150 millimetres, or actually 155 millimetres, which is quite fat. I don't want anything that fat for the gate because that blocks off more view, but I could rip these down to like 100 millimetres, so to like there or something. And these are 20 millimetres, 25 millimetres thick. I can do that, but considering my only saw for ripping things down is a circular saw, I have done that before, but it's not going to produce the straightest edge. So, and then we still have this leftover piece, narrow piece. Would have a bunch of narrow pieces that have been ripped off, which isn't really ideal. So I'd rather just use something narrower if I can, which brings me to option B. Option B is we now have this pile of demolished fence from what Angus demolished by the deck, and while a lot of it is old and huckery, some of it could still be used, and this is 120 millimetres, just under. So I'd prefer 100 millimetres because that gives more view, and 20 millimetres thick. These would be a lighter option. I think I'm inclined to go with that because that's the less work and less potential of non-straight edges with the circular saw. This is my little drawing for the gate. So when it comes to gates, the way you're supposed to do it if you're doing a diagonal brace is the point where it's low to the ground in the bottom corner should be the hinge side, or the main post side, whereas the latch will be on the side where the diagonal comes up to the top corner. That's the way you're supposed to do it. That's basically what I'm going to do with the timber. The whole opening is going to be covered with netting. I think I'm going to go for the 45-degree angle cuts so that they slot together nicely. It looks nicer this way, so we're going to try this out and see how we go. As long as I do them the same angling the same way. So cutting off most of the top, cutting off most of the top. Who wants to be chopped off? This will allow a little bit more of the bad bits to be cut off too, because the ends are a little bit more crusty, and the next two sides will be shorter, so I get to cut more off. That's nicer than heavy. Hold it down. Let's bung a clamp on there too for good measure. Okay, I've got it as square as I can, the outer frame with the circular saw, which is difficult. And I was left wondering why on earth did I decide to do angles, but we're getting there. Now I need to tack screws into the sides to join them together. Yeah, I'm just trying to get this gate done. Maybe I'll do this side first. Gotta get the joint together. That's good. Now, where do I want to bung these away from the side? Trouble with these is nothing is exactly flat. And it's awkward on the floor. Let's get something heavy to help. So that is bowed or twisted. That's not gonna want to go down nicely. I'm back to the gate again. It's, as always, taking longer than expected because I'm having to do it. Working around homeschool and other household duties and things. But I have put a screw into each corner, and now I need to find a piece of timber for the diagonal cross brace to hold it together. The fence palings from the old demolished fence aren't long enough to go diagonally across the middle, so I'm going to have to use one of the larger 150mm wide fence palings and cut it down. Maybe I'll see what it looks like full width, otherwise I'll cut it down to the same dimensions as the frame. Because I'm using these old fence palings, some of them are a bit bowed or warped, so I'm just trying to weigh them down with a couple of heavy things. At the end of the day, I'm trying to remind myself that it's just a chicken gate. I've cut my long diagonal brace piece of timber so that at its longest it reaches to the corners. I'm actually going to leave it the size it is. It's wider than the frame, but that'll make it stronger and also it'll give more room. I'm actually deciding what to do about the hinges. If I do put the hinges on that part, and that means I don't have to do more cutting. The problem I'm facing now is how to position the gate. I'd like this side of the frame to be facing the front, so what we can see most of the time, unless we're in that chicken pen coming out, because this looks a bit nicer. It's it kind of looks like it's got like an old, it's black stain been pressure sprayed off, but it's left some remnants, so it kind of looks interesting, kind of cool. So I'd like that facing the garden, but because I'm going to hinge it on the other side, the opposite side, which is on the concrete right now, I now have to decide whether I'm going to interrupt the look of the front facing part of the gate with this brace going across here, which is the way you'd normally do it, so that the hinges will be on the other side and they'll be on this flat surface of the frame there and up there, and the latch would latch onto the back up there. Technically this is the back of the gate and the way it's going to be assembled on the post, but it'll be facing the house. So do I want to attach the brace to the back, which isn't going to look as nice? I still need to measure and cut the angles so that it's flush with the edges of the frame. But even so, it kind of sticks out. It just won't look as nice as it will from the other side. So either I do it like this, or I flip the frame over and put the brace on the back. The trouble then is that the hinges are going to have to... This one would be okay because the hinge could go across there, but up there I'd have to attach another piece of timber of the same thickness to put the hinge on there. The latch would be okay because that would be up there. It'll be on the opposite side, but do I want to deal with that awkwardness? So the question is really, do I want it to look nicer from the front, the part of the gate that we're pretty much always going to be looking at, and make it more awkward for attaching the hinges on the back? Or do I want to just do the normal way and have it not looking so nice from the front because the diagonal brace will be sticking out? Okay, this is going to give you more of an idea of what it will look like from our view from the house and from the garden. What I would rather like it look like. This is what the front facing of a gate would normally be like if you were making it like this. It's just that the hinges have to go on the back, the other side. It does look a lot nicer like this. What? Not really. to screw this on. 40 millimeters is just right. I need to remember there's going to be a hinge going across here, a T-hinge. So I need to try and put the screws where the hinge isn't going to be. I haven't got the hinges yet. That would be helpful if I had them, but I know what size I'm going to get, but it's still a little bit hard to see exactly where it's going to sit on here. That's alright, I'll figure it out. Oh, where did I put that screw as well? Okay, that one goes. It's a little bit warped. To hold you down. Go. You know what I forgot to do? Put the netting on. You can put the netting right on the outside over the brace, but it's a lot flatter and tidier if it goes under the brace, so I'm going to go get the netting and do that and undo my screws. Netting is done. The squares are 25 by 25 millimetre. I've just stapled it on with our only stapler we've got for outside, which is not ideal, but that's what we've got. And I decided to leave some at the top because if there's a flat surface, the chickens are more likely to be able to get over it because they can see something to land on, whereas if there's thin wire, they're less likely to try to fly over it, even though my heavy chickens don't get very high. It'll just be good for whatever might be in the pen. And back to the cross brace. I've got to line everything up again. Actually, let's just do this. than enough. A little bit more. Okay, that will do. Need some weight. You can go down. Here, you come out. And then you can go down. Next corner. We're getting there, guys. We're getting there. We're almost there. Here's what we've got. So I am glad I've done it this way because it's going to look just a lot nicer from the side we can see. Even though it's technically the back of the gate, it's our front. I've put a few staples to hold the netting on the cross brace as well, just so it doesn't stick out too much. And we'll see how we go with this netting on the top. If it's getting in the way, I can always cut it off if we need to. If I was going to be hinging it the normal way on this front side, that would be it. But because the hinges are going to go on the back, and the cross brace is sticking out further at the back, one hinge is going to go on that and the other hinge needs a piece of the same thickness as this bunged onto here so I can have something to secure the other hinge to. So I've put this extra little piece on the top so that there can be a hinge down here and a hinge up here. So at the moment I'm going for 2 hinges, but I may need 3, in which case I could just make another piece to go in the middle if I need to. But we're going to see how we go with 2 heavy-duty T hinges. Okay, the gate is ready to roll. I just need to go to Bunnings to get hinges and a latch, and then we can install it. And I have to pull the other one apart before I can install this, so I'm sure the chickens are all going to be watching.